Live. Coming up in this bulletin, Controller and Accountant General denies overstating Ghana's debt stock by 139 billion cedis for last year, insisting the challenge was how the calculation was done, which was not wrong.
The figure, as we see in the financial statement, is the same as we have after the reconciliation. And they haven't.
Hello people, welcome back to our channel. It's always your girl Pleasure bringing you political news in our channel Ghanatube. And as a constant reminder that this is actually a better place to get all your Ghana news, trending news, and what it's actually
impacted on the accounts of the state. There wasn't an overstatement, but just some few reconciliation that we have to do with the auditors.
But Chairperson of the Public Accounts Committee maintains a more coherent calculation is needed to reflect the exact and true debt stock of the country.
We would want you to do moving forward is collaborate more with the audit service, and also let your responses be timely.
Really, what does misreporting of a country's debt numbers mean for an economy? We shall be discussing that with an economist. Also in this bulletin, government partners Pakistani rice producers to boost local production of the staple.
This has become one of the most important staples in Ghana, with consumption rising sharply in recent years. While government is working diligently under the Feed Ghana program to increase local production.
We have details of these and more for you. Please stay on. Thanks so much for your time. I am Pius Kujobaka. And looking at our stories, the Controller and Accountant General, Kwesi Ejay, has denied assertions that it overstated the country's debt stock position ending last year. The Auditor General, in its report for last year, revealed that the country's debt had been overstated by 139 billion cedis. But answering questions from the Public Accounts Committee today, Mr. J noted that the issue has been resolved, and of course they asked to stand. They do stand by what they put out.
Madam Chair, what I would say is that we prepare whole of government accounts covering the local government, that's the MMDAs, central government, and then SOEs. So when it comes to the debt figure, we look at that for central government and guaranteed SOEs, and then the unguaranteed SOEs, and the summation of the two gives us a total for the whole of government accounts. When we did that, our figure for the whole of government accounts was 861.4 billion, and that of the central government and the guarantee SOEs came to 711.4 billion. And this is what we reported in the financial statement. But after the report was submitted to Parliament, we met with the auditors, and then we reconciled, we did some reconciliation. But we still came back with the same figure, the same 861 billion for whole of government, and then 711.4 billion for central government and guaranteed also is. So far as we are concerned, we reconcile. The figures haven't changed. The figure as we see in the financial statement is the same as we have after the reconciliation. And they haven't impacted on the accounts of the state. There wasn't an overstatement, but just some few reconciliation that we have to do with the auditors.
Chairperson of the Public Accounts Committee, Abnasi Asari, maintains a more coherent calculation is needed to reflect the exact and true debt stock of the country.
Well, I can also say that I have the breakdown of the difference, and that pertains to the various SOEs. What we would want you to do moving forward is collaborate more with the audit service, and also let your responses be timely, because they are also bound by when to report when to submit these reports to Parliament. You know, there's a timeline. By end of June, they also have to report, get the reports ready and submit to Parliament, so that when you don't respond on a timely basis, it affects what they do. So I believe we have brought some clarity to this issue of the overstatement of public debts. The difference had to do with the unguaranteed state-owned enterprises, which we have the breakdown, and that did not materially affect the accounts of government. So I'd like to bring this to an end.
Meanwhile, Deputy Finance Minister Thomas Nyako-Ampem noted that he hopes this will bring finality to the...
This is a very, very important conclusion that we need to bring to the attention of every Ghanaian and everybody who has interest in Ghana. It was worrying for an impression to be created that the Controller and Accountant General had overstated Ghana's public debt. And so this conclusion, sending the message clear to everybody that there was no overstatement of the public debt and that the public debt, as stated, remains the same, is the most important conclusion that I think everybody must take out of this meeting.
What does misreporting of a country's debt number mean for an economy like Ghana? And we want to discuss that. Joining us via Zoom is Economist Professor Patrick Isumeng. Thank you so much, sir, for joining us here on Business Life. And it looks like the debate about the country's debt stock won't end anytime soon, depending on where you stand. What actually is the problem? Why can't we have a coherent calculation of our debt numbers?
Good evening, and good evening to viewers, and thanks for having me. I don't think we should have been here in the first place. These are government agencies who are well informed about how to compute the country's debt position. And as it turned out to be, if they had collaborated the way they should have, I believe they are under the same Ministry of Finance. So I think it was really a matter of how to treat unguaranteed debt of SOEs, which, by standard definition, it should be straightforward how to treat it. So I don't think this is something that was necessary. This kind of confusion was not necessary. I don't think there's any confusion or equivocation about where our debt position is. So I think that as the Deputy Finance Minister said, that really is where we should have been. More collaboration and engagement, and then we wouldn't have had that kind of confusion.
And you have investors watching proceedings of this nature. What signal or message do you think issues about incoherent debt numbers send to them?
Well, I think it doesn't look good, but I think it's clear when you listen to the initial release and the subsequent explanation. I think it's just misunderstanding on the part of one government agency. I don't think this has any bearing on the numbers that we report to the IMF. And to the extent that we are not going back to go and revise those numbers, I think its impact should be minimal once it's clearly explained that there was some confusion on the part of one government agency. But we shouldn't be here. These things should not be happening.
Implication on the economy largely, do you think?
I don't think so. I don't think there's been any material change in the position, in the size of our debt, or how we're going to service the debt. I think if it turned out that the numbers had to be revised down, then that would be very important. But as it is, the clarification has been given, and we are where we were. The debt situation really hasn't worsened or improved from what we previously knew. So I don't think they should have much impact going forward.
All right, so clearly this is a worrying story, like you mentioned, lack of coordination and of course collaboration, etc. Going forward, what advice would you give to government institutions and of course quasi institutions for that matter under the Ministry of Finance, etc., so that we all have coherent debt numbers?
I think it's important for credibility that you don't put out numbers and have to take them back. So these are very sensitive numbers. So I think before such a statement is put out, you just check with the other government agency to confirm and agree and seek clarification. Because, the optics are not good when two state agencies under the same ministry are saying different things. That doesn't look good. So I think it's obvious that going forward, the numbers should be checked and reconciled before they are put forward. Because once you put these ones out and then it becomes a matter of public discussion that there's a mistake in the computation, it doesn't engender public confidence in the agency's concern. So I think it's clear that in future more collaboration and then confirmation and rechecking and confirming that everybody is satisfied that these are the numbers. Including if you have to confirm with the BOG and others, because these are all state agencies that are involved in putting out our debt numbers, and it should never happen that they are saying different things. So I think in future that's really what has to happen. Before you put on the number, you confirm with the other agencies that also report these debt numbers.
Professor Sume, also appearing before the committee today was GRA. Guess what? About 9 institutions owe the state 47 million cedis in unpaid taxes despite making profits. How do we retrieve these numbers? Well,
I think I'm hearing this for the first time, but it's unbelievable to hear this. I think it's pretty straightforward. I mean, if you are making profit, and I don't know if GRA is aware of this, why measures are not being taken to retrieve them, and then also if penalty should apply, they should apply. I think we have to give the signal that we're extremely serious about making sure people pay their commitment to the state.
And over the period, we've seen the unwillingness, so to speak, of GRA and other state institutions to retrieve monies owed to the state. This time around, what should change?
Well, I think it appears that there's some perception that, look, we all work for we all belong to the government, and therefore maybe there's some laxity in ensuring that what's supposed to be done is done. So we just need to have a different kind of culture. I think the posture of the ECG some time back, where they were out there to collect their debt, including government agencies, and then they were shutting them out when they were not paying. I think that's the kind of thing that we should be doing. If you are a state agency mandated to collect, whether it is because it's due the state. There's no reason why, without any cause, it should be referred. So I think the same thing should apply. And then if, I don't know to what extent the law allows people who are responsible for holding on such amounts to be brought to book. I think if that happens, then whoever is responsible, when the time is due, you report. Because if it is private individuals or companies, I'm sure they will come down heavily on them. The same thing should apply to other state agencies as well.
All right. Professor Isume, thank you so much for joining us here on Business Live. Great for speaking to us on.
Please do well to like, comment, and follow. Put on notification bell so you get all our news one by one. Thanks, my